Hi, this is Reltzik, and I am responding to the Gamma Repeater, um, who was in turn responding to me on YouTube. And I just have to say, wow, that was a bolt out of the blue. I had posted that invitation almost something like 2 months ago. I'd gotten a single response, which kind of went nowhere. He sent a response to me. I answered back, and then nothing. And after that, nothing was happening. It just kind of felt dead to me. And then once I stopped looking for responses, you know how it is. Click, click, click. Has anyone responded yet? Has anyone responded yet? Um, like almost 2 months later, here's Gamma Repeater responding to me. And I almost didn't notice. So sorry, guy, for the delay. Um, yeah. So you said a lot of complimentary things about me in the video. I'll simply say thank you for that and not dwell on it. And you posed a question for me. You were responding to something I said in my introduction video about how I was on the gray and hazy fringes or something like that of atheism. And you asked me basically why. You asked me to go into that. So I think I'll answer that one. Um, so why am I on the gray fringes of atheism? Well, in my mind, that's actually two questions. First question is, why am I where I am, which you were kind of explicit about. Second question is, why is where I am a sort of a gray area? I think I'll answer the second one first. I am what is called an agnostic. That's agnostic starting with an I, which it's kind of hard to pin down what that means. Basically, it means if someone poses me the question, do I believe God exists, or something similar, I don't feel that that question is clear enough to answer. I feel that it needs to be better formulated in one way or another, and you can actually break agnostics down into several other categories as to why they feel it's not formulated well enough. For me, I just think that there are so many different conceptions of God or a deity out there. Um, so many people use the same word in different ways that when someone poses that question to me, I kind of need to, I kind of am not getting the sense of what they're asking, simply because I don't know what they mean when they use the word God. Um, Another way to look at that, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I can't say that I've really found many notions of God that I really believe in. I'd be hard pressed to say I found any. Um, but I'm not prepared to say that I have yet to find. I'm not prepared to say that I'm never going to find one. I'm not prepared to say that it's impossible for any of them to be true. I'm not even prepared to say that nothing I believe counts as a God. Um, so until I'm prepared to say that last one, I can't really say I'm an atheist. Um, but I am a skeptic. I tend in most regards to fall on the atheistic, agnostic, uh, skeptical side of the debate. So that's why I say I'm on the gray fringes. Yeah, I'm kind of over there, but it depends where you draw the borders. Alright, so that's why I count as being there. How did I get here? Well, I guess that's personal history. Let's see, how far back do I want to go? Let's start with parentage. My father started off as a Christian. Pretty much a believing Christian. I think he was Presbyterian. I'm not entirely sure. Um, he was a strong believer for a while, and then he joined the Air Force. This would have been in the late 50s, early 60s, I think. and he got out to see the larger world, and he started seeing a much broader view of religion than what he had seen in his own community. He got stationed in the South for a while, and he started seeing religion invoked to support segregation. That's what he points to. And he got a bit jaded and disillusioned about it. And nowadays he describes himself as religiously anti-religious. Um, and I kind of think he's talking about organized religion there rather than faith in general. But I'm not sure. We don't talk about it that much. It's not a comfortable subject for him. So by the time I came around, he was pretty much non-observant. To this day, I don't know whether or not he actually still believes in a God or not, but he does not practice. Let's see, my mom. My dad doesn't like to talk about these things. My mom loves to talk about these things. She started off as a Jewish atheist, and she's always very specific. She has to say she's a Jewish atheist because she has to specify exactly what it is she does not believe in. Okay, so she kind of turned her back on that community, and then she felt guilty about it. And she says that this is part of being Jewish or not being Jewish, and I couldn't quite figure out which is which. So she tried to raise me Jewish, even though she was not Jewish herself. And it didn't stick. So around age 12, she'd been sending me to Hebrew school and at the local JCC. And about the age of 12, I just said, hey, I don't really believe any of this. And she kind of had to say, yeah, okay, I don't either. And that was the end of that. So after that, I was identifying as an atheist. Long before I put much thought into it. Then I started putting thought into it. I started getting into serious mathematics of all things, and I discovered exactly how much work goes into a disproof of something, proof of non-existence. At that time, to me, atheism meant not just the claim I don't believe God exists, but the claim there is no such thing as a God. And if you go hunting around on YouTube, you'll find alternate definitions of what atheism is, and a lot of people who will defend those alternate definitions fairly rapidly. But at the time, that's what I viewed atheism as meaning. So started realizing, hey, I can't really disprove any of this. And from then on, I was calling myself an agnostic. I was specifically a strong agnostic, which means, all right, I don't know, and I don't think there's any way to know. I don't think it's possible to sort through the truth, sort through everything around us and come up with an answer reasonably. So I was a strong agnostic for quite a while until I was reading Carl Sagan, of all things, one of his science fiction pieces, possibly his only one. And it ended with, and the end of the book was what he presents what I think is an example of what could be considered evidence, scientific evidence for the existence of a creator. Now, he's presenting it as a fiction. He's not claiming that this evidence actually exists, but simply by formulating something that, if encountered, could be taken as some measure of evidence, not conclusive evidence, but something that'll tip the scales. Just seeing that formulation changed me into what's called a weak atheist, a weak agnostic, and a weak agnostic says, all right, I don't know, but it might be possible to find out. There might be evidence out there. It's just I haven't encountered it or I haven't recognized it as such. Now, very quickly after that, I started thinking, okay, maybe this is possible. Maybe I should be doing a lot closer examination just to see what I might have been missing back when I was thinking that examination would help. So I started looking fairly critical at the idea of the existence of a God or a non-existence of God, and I very quickly bumped into the realization, one, that I don't know what the whole concept means, and two, there seems to be a lot of disagreement out there, even among the believers, about what it means. So I fairly quickly became an agnostic with an I. Um, but it took me a long time to actually realize there was a word for that thing. I thought I was just weird. I am weird, but there's also a word for it. Alright, so that's probably much more exposition than you wanted. But I hope it answers your question as to why I am where I am. Um, also, where exactly I am. So I'm already running long and verbose. The clock in the bottom of my screen here says it's over 11 minutes. I'm making it longer just by noting that. How ironic. So, alright, I think it's time to shoot this back to you. I'll throw the same question back at you. Where do you consider yourself? You say you consider yourself a Christian theist. But that's, from what I've seen, that's actually a fairly broad range of categories. So, so if you could expand on that a little bit, I'd be interested. And also, why you are there? Same question back. And simply because I want to contribute more to the questions than just, all right, how about you, how about you, how about you? I'm going to add another question about codes of behavior. Um, as informed by religion. And I want your take on this. I don't want the theologian's take, unless of course you're a theologian. But there are lots of codes of behavior that are adopted, endorsed, required by several portions of Christianity. I won't say all of them because I haven't looked at all of them. And a lot of them seem to be stuff that you do for yourself. Well, not do for yourself per se, but stuff where it's a code of behavior you're enforcing on yourself. That you're told not to do this, but it's you who decides not to do it. Or you're told that you should do this, and it's you who decides that you should do this. And some sections of Christianity put a lot more emphasis on that than others. But that's a bit less interesting to me. One of the things I've noticed that really, I don't want to say really bugs me, but I think is the real challenge for atheists, non-believers, skeptics, whatever, in dealing with theists is a slightly different question. What happens when you think that people should do something, should believe something, but they don't? And you, as an outside party to that decision, you're there watching them act or behave or believe in a manner other than what the religion says they should act or behave or believe. What code of behavior does the religion then suggest for you? And I don't want to be accusatory in this or anything. I don't want to say that you're one of those people, one of those jerks. No. But I do think that's probably one of the more significant questions in this whole debate, kerfluffle, issue, whatever. And I think it's a pretty heavily overlooked question. We've got two sides. They're disagreeing. They can talk all they want. They can philosophize all they want. But at the end of the day, if they're still disagreeing and all the talking in the world hasn't changed that, what happens next? Do you try to find some way to coexist? Do you try to find some way to fight them? This is... and I don't see Christianity united on this subject, and I unfortunately see atheism somewhat united on this subject, but I think that's just because the new atheists are pretty noisy. So yeah, I'll throw that question out there. Okay, so get back to me. Hope I haven't offended you in any way. If I have, my apologies. And yeah. Looking forward to your response.